Hello everyone, so the topic of today is spirituality on a budget. Now, a question that I get asked quite a bit is how can I maintain a spiritual or magical practice on a limited amount of funds, a limited amount of money that I have available for my own spiritual pursuits. Now, there's quite a few things that I've purchased today from Dollar Tree that can be attributed to a spiritual practice. So what I'm going to do is go through these things. I'm going to go ahead and discard the things that are not spiritual that I just kind of bought at Dollar Tree. But in the end, it's going to equal $15 or below. So let's go ahead and go through the things that I'm going to discard. We have the probiotic. I'll go ahead and discard that. That was $1. Ginseng, also good, but that's just $1 and it's not spiritual, so I'll discard that. Of course, your definition of spirituality can be very, it can be very obtuse. So if you're looking at these things in an obtuse manner, then you might consider everything here spiritual. Some floss that I'm going to go ahead and discard. Now, I believe we are left with everything that is spiritual that I can explain in a spiritual fashion. Now, the Holy Bible, New Testament, this was $1. You might not think that this can be used for any kind of spells or any kind of magical or spiritual work if you're not Christian, if you're more interested in a spiritual practice that does not confine to one singular religion or one singular dogmatic system. But there are a lot of suggestions that you can find in the New Testament and the Old Testament that can help you craft spells. It's not just about, okay, you're condemned if you do this, or it's a sin if you do that. In the New Testament, you can find quite a few wording suggestions because the New Testament and the Bible in general is a highly metaphysical book. Most Christians do not understand how metaphysical it is, so they take it at face value. They take it literally. And then that's where the problem comes into play for their relation to everyone else, because they're taking the Bible literally when it should be taken metaphysically. You should be able to meditate on different verses in the Bible and come to a conclusion that is not literal. And if you do come to a literal conclusion, then you're not taking the Bible the correct way, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, and but regardless, this is used for spell work by many magical practitioners. So we'll put that aside. That's $1. Red bandana. Any color of bandana you can use to kind of shroud your statues. You can use to place your candles upon, and it can be kind of an altarpiece. An altarpiece is a piece of fabric that you lay down and you do your spiritual work upon, or your magical work upon. If you're casting a spell and you use something like a red bandana, you might even want to burn it afterwards, but this was just $1. So going to, this is a bottle. Once again, all of this is from Dollar Tree. This is a bottle. Now, this particular bottle closes very well. It has a closing mechanism. But the color and the function of it is what I was concerned with. The color is red, of passion, of power, and the fact that it closes tightly made me want to use it for offerings. I can pour anything in here, but what I'm going to pour into this bottle is flammable alcohol, flammable rum particularly. When I pour this in here, it's going to be a vessel so that I can pour it into either a goblet, a chalice, or a bowl to add to an offering to whatever being I'm working with, whether it be God or spirit. And honestly, if I wanted to drink from this, if I wanted to use it in a ritual where I drink from it, then I would completely dedicate it to that, because you don't really want to mix an implement between your consumption from it and its dedication to a god or a spirit. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is a similar bottle, and you can use it for the same thing. But this bottle is particularly artistic. It has a lot of designs in it, and it has a cork. This was also $1. This one would be more likely dedicated to a spirit or god in particular. You would only use this for a spirit or god. You might want to engrave upon it. You might want to place it upon a shrine. You might want to place it upon a permanent altar piece, altar cloth, so that that spirit or god knows that this is their bottle. And red, once again, is the color I chose because it is the power and the passion of your work. So we're going to place that aside. And of course I have, once again, $1 each. Let me see if I can find the other one of this. There we go. Red candles. These are good for a variety of different kinds of spells. Whether it be spells that are concerned with love, trying to bring love into your life, or trying to manifest a certain power that you want to transform into the person that can retain that power and use that power. Or maybe you just want to use this as a candle of focus. Red is a very good color for all of these things. So I got 2 of those and place those aside. And I got a whole bunch of white candles of the same make. They're 7-day candles. They're supposed to burn for 7 days, but they never really do. Unless you're getting a really high quality wax, which I doubt these are. But they are called 7-day candles, and I would guess that these would burn for about 4 days at best. But I have here 4 of these white 7-day candles that are really good for anything, because you can place this in front of any spirit or any being and still be appropriate when it comes to color. The 7-day candles, the white ones, they can be for meditation, for focus, and the vast majority of gods and spiritual beings will accept a white candle as an offering, as a place that you can focus on in order to communicate with that spirit or god. So white is just a all across the board color you can use when it comes to candles. Now, here's where I go into the things that are not as inexpensive. Here, see, I missed one. I try to buy as many as possible when I find a place that has those 7-day candles, because most grocery stores run out of them quite quickly. And when you find a dollar store or a grocery store that has them, just buy a bunch, because you can use them for anything. Now, the few things that I want to talk about that cost a little bit more are the books, but I did not remember, even though these were $1 a piece, these 2 tiki torches. Now, they may seem comical to use in any spiritual practice, but if you're outdoors and you want to light your path and you want to kind of have a decor for your god or spirit, you can place these around and light them and create a ritual space. And these tiki torches are attached, you have the bamboo, and then you have the fuel in the can, and then you have the wick itself. So the things that actually cost more, one is, and this is just an example. I don't practice Wicca generally. I use a lot of Wicca spells, but I don't practice it particularly. Now, this Wicca Book of Spells by Lisa Chamberlain is $7 on Amazon.com, and it's a very great book to just get spell ideas. You don't even have to be Wicca or be a witch in order to practice these spells. It's just a great source for ideas on spells that you can kind of form into your own variation, whatever spiritual path you're on, whatever magical path you're on. You can kind of use these Wicca spells in order to produce your own practice. And once again, this is $7 on Amazon, and it's by Lisa Chamberlain, Wicca Book of Spells. Another book that I would highly recommend, but this one is actually $12 on Amazon, just to give you a heads up, is by Jason Miller, and it's Protection and Reversal Magic. Now, Protection and Reversal Magic is a book that will help you, well, honestly, protect yourself through some ceremonial type magical spells, and also some reversal magic that will help you push away spells that have been directed towards you. Some negative spells that you did not anticipate from an enemy. Just put up a general shield that you can protect yourself from spiritual attacks that you either did not anticipate or you did and you're fighting back. So once again, that's Protection and Reversal Magic by Jason Miller. I'd highly recommend this book. It's $12 on Amazon. And the final thing that I have to say that is actually the most expensive is Wray and Nephew Overproof Rum. And this is flammable rum. This is a great offering because when you pour this flammable rum into, an offering cup, a chalice, what have you, and you light it, it goes directly to the Spirit of God. It allows the Spirit of God to really consume the offering immediately rather than allowing it to evaporate. But you can allow whatever thing that you offer when it comes to liquids to evaporate. But if you're using a lighter and this rum, the offering is much quicker. So this was $28. This is a big size of Wray and Nephew Overproof Rum, and it's Caribbean rum, and it's clear rum, obviously. But this is a great offering, and I'm going to actually pour this into this offering bottle. Now, I might not offer this particular bottle to a spirit or a god, but this will just be a general offering bottle. And I'll pour this into this, and then when I'm making an offering, or I'm making a dedication to a spirit or god, I will pour out of this bottle. But it's very important to have a particular bottle that you use to make offerings, whether it be a bottle that's very generic or one that you're dedicating to a particular god or spirit. So keep that in mind when you're making offerings. So everything except the books and this rum amounted to $17. So it's not an out of this world number that you can produce your own magic through or your own spiritual ritual through. You just have to know where to look. Dollar store, Dollar Tree, what have you. And look for books on Amazon that are cheap. And you take elements from those different spells, from those different books, and make them your own. You craft your own spells to connect with your own spirits or gods, and to cast your own kind of spells. It's very important to craft your own magical or spiritual path, because I found, at least as far as my path goes, that when I try to just do a particular ritual that is subscribed by somebody else, it comes to a point where I'm just going through the motions. I'm not invested in it. It's very important to be invested in your spiritual journey and your magical journey. If you're not invested, if you just find yourself going through the motions, then it will not be effective. So for your magical or spiritual journey to be effective, craft your own path. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been informative. If you want to contact me on Facebook and ask more questions, feel free to friend me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/hunter.salazar, and you can contact me through Facebook Messenger. And as long as you're polite, I will respond to you in turn. If you want to become my patron on Patreon, feel free to go to www.patreon.com/darkrealist, capital D, capital R. And I haven't gained a lot of patrons, so I would be greatly appreciative if you donate just $1 a month in order to get a little bit of extra content and notifications about my YouTube videos. If you do that, I will definitely listen to your video suggestions and carry out those videos in due turn. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been informative, and I hope to see all of you on my channel in the future.